Uh-oh, what's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome everybody. Welcome wherever you're checking in from, whether it be jail, all right, the Philippines, okay, somewhere, someplace in the lovely United States of America, or from a boat. If there's anybody out there checking in from a yacht, let me know. I am the host, one of the hosts of the Sports Bar here on WTF Nation Radio slash US Army WTF Nation Moments. This avatar that you see right here is my lovely co-host. He goes by the name of Coach. Coach, say what's happening.
What do you hear? What do you say, WTF Nation? How y'all doing today?
Hey man, is your avatar gender fluid?
About as fluid as the rain that's pouring out outside right now. So yes, it is.
That is what's up. Shout out to you, man. That rain, it snowed here in Maryland today. I actually walked outside and was like, what in the world is this?
We just got some rain down here, but I did see the snow coming up in middle of March. It's March. That's madness in the weather, and March Madness is fully upon us,
March
starting
Madness.
today.
March Madness is here. That is right. If you go to the Sports Bar Facebook page, we have a March Madness bracket that I said that I was going to offer whoever wins the bracket a $20 gift card from someplace. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's coming out of my own hard earned money. So go over to the Sports Bar. I'm going to put the post back up. This is a two-man show over here. I have to get a little bit better about marketing for myself, but we'll definitely have that link up. We love
I'm
anybody.
already on the page. I'll go ahead and I'll put it back up, buddy.
Hey man, that's what I'm talking about. So you can join our WTF Nation Radio Listeners League March Madness for a chance to win a $20 gift card. Y'all let me know where you would want that gift card from. I could make it specific, or I could just say, hey, here's $20, go buy something. I don't know. I'll figure that out yet sometime in the future. Um, let's check in and see where everybody is from before we get into our show today. So I have a new setup, I have a new space. So if it's looking like I'm turned or and I'm not facing the screen, I still got to work on that. We have Agnes checking in. It's morning time over there in the Philippines. Salute to you, Agnes Palermo de la Cruz. It's a lot of syllables. My Alabama brain may not be able to say those syllables, but I appreciate you from tuning in from the Philippines. That's what's up. Hey, I've been there. I had that Philippine dish. They look like the spring rolls. Oh man, what are those called? Coach, man,
Yeah,
I don't know.
spring rolls. Spring rolls. That's what they're called, man.
Yeah,
I've had those before.
yeah, but like they call them a certain dish over there, and it is fantastic. I have to remember what that dish is. Agnes, if you remember
Balut.
what that Filipino spring roll, the Philippine spring roll dish is, let me know. We have Spanky tuning in from the WTF Nation radio page. Salute to you, Spanky. He sent the heart emoji. I'm gonna send the heart
Oh,
emoji to him back. Okay, is this how you do it? Okay,
Spanky's a girl.
is this how the youngins do it out there?
Spanky's a girl.
Oh, Spanky's a girl?
Yeah,
Hey, my bad, Spanky. My bad. See, this is why live streams are the way that they are. Ain't no take backs. I'm still learning, everybody. All right. If I did a better deep dive, we should have a coffee video chat with all of the hosts of WTF Nation Radio so I can put names with faces and
that is true.
understand
Yes.
who is who. So, boss, Iceman, let's make that happen. Let's see. We got Michelle Early, who is, I'm just going to say, I'm going to put it on Jump Street, downstairs right now. Tuning in, says that she's currently on the yacht in her mind. Hey, one of these days, you and I hit the Powerball. Let's get a yacht together and name it something. We'll
Boats
figure
and
that out.
hoes. Boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Mm,
Oh,
mm, mm, mm.
you
We
ever see,
got,
you ever see Step Brothers?
yes, man, let me tell you about that movie. I didn't like Step Brothers the first time I watched it. I
Yeah.
thought it was stupid.
Okay.
And it grew on me. And it is one of my favorite movies. It's somewhere between 15 to 20, which, by the way, my ranking people won't like my ranking on anything because some people, Step Brothers are top 10. No, King's going to put it top 20 for sure. There's hundreds of thousands of movies out there. So for it to be a top 20 for me is a big deal. But remember how last week, Coach, I said I was going to have a top 5 shooters in the NBA?
Yes.
We are going to have my top 5, and I'm going in order from 5 to 1 as of the production of this video. Many people are going to feel slighted that I left out certain names and mentioned other names that some people, especially if you're under the age of 30, you may not have heard of 2 of the names. Well, one of the names for sure, but the other one, it's not going to be a name that people are going to be familiar with if you're born before 95.
Oh my God.
But but 4 of the top 5 are definitely names that if you follow the NBA or basketball, you will have heard of these people. So I can't wait to bring that out a little bit later on in the show.
I'm looking forward to tearing this list apart, so that's not a problem.
All right, man, do your worst.
Hey, speaking of movies, I did finally catch Creed 1 and Creed 2.
Yes, we are going to talk about that. I didn't put it on the show notes prep, but we are going to talk about that for sure.
Ain't a problem, buddy.
All right, we got David Cunningham. DC is in the building. Delta Charlie said, "What up, King and Coach? Checking in from South California, Southern Cal." Hey, man, I was listening to some rap music the other day, and it was a Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, because on Apple, there was this big news about Apple and the licensing for a lot of the old Death Row stuff or whatnot. Well, it's back on Apple now, so there was a big hoobabaloo about that. I don't even know what that word means, hoobabaloo. I made it up, though. It sounded like it should go. So I was listening to that, and I'm like, man, this makes me feel like I should have been born and raised in Southern California. And then I think about them high taxes, the gas price for your regular out there in Southern Cal. And then I go, you know what? I'm good. I'd rather live in Maryland than live in Southern California.
Suge Knight still in jail?
Hey, is he still alive?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's go. I'll Google that up real fast.
That is a fair question. Hey, man, the intro. Ooh, so we still have some people checking in. I want to acknowledge the early people coming in, and then we'll jump right into the sports bar and what the sports bar here is about. So David Cunningham said Lake Tahoe and the mountains in California has gotten over 12 feet of snow. Not inches? Feet?
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Oh, wow. Okay. Michelle said the Step Brothers is one of her absolute favorites. Hey, this is why I like her. This is why I claim her. She claims me. I don't know why. Somebody should tell her she might need to run. Run. Hold on. I have the run sound effect. I don't know if y'all can hear it. She needs to run.
Hey, so apparently Suge is still in prison. He will not be eligible for parole until 2034.
Ooh, so that's another 11 years from now. Man, Suge's going to get out of jail. He's going to have to experience what live stream is. Live stream is. Hey, imagine if Suge Knight got on these live streaming platforms and just started doing whatever Suge Knight does. He would get a following. I think Suge Knight would actually get a massive following if streaming is, still a thing here in 11 years.
Man, Suge Knight, when he gets out of prison, he's going to be a Crip.
Let's see. We got John Manning. Almost sounds like John Madden checking in from Lesby, Maryland. I've never heard of Lesby, Maryland, but I'm gonna look that one up. Salute to you, John, for joining. I'll tell y'all where I'm at. I'm in Frederick. They call it Fredneck. I'm in Frederick, Maryland. I like it out here. It's not too bad. And we got the Texas Gulf Coast, Corpus Christi, Ken over on Facebook. Salute to you. Okay. Now that we got the early people out the way, to include Ice. Ice said Alabama, Kansas, Houston, and Purdue were named the number 1 seeds.
Yep, those were the top seeds in the NCAA brackets.
This is my surprise face. I've been so busy today, minus a 20-minute nap I took right before the live stream, that I haven't really been keeping up with sports news altogether. But this is why we do this. So what is the sports bar? To the people that are new here, this is one of the newer shows on WTF Nation Radio. And it is where Coach and I and you, the viewers, and people that eventually we're going to have call in, we can talk about all things sports related, but it's not just sports. You know, when you go to a sports bar, sometimes you see the person over there with the Auburn jersey, you wearing your Alabama jersey, and you talk trash to each other. You don't just talk about the sport sometimes. You bond. You share experiences with people over the commonality of sports in general. Some people say, oh, I don't get the whole hype around sports and stuff. Let me tell you, I grew up playing sports. I played sports before I went active duty in the military. That team, especially team sports, you know, there's that bonding that you have. You learning to follow instructions, and you're doing a goal or a task to ultimately try and win. All right, but it's that love of sports, that conversation that you share with other people. That I'm really good friends with people that I played with and played against from high school over sports. And sometimes that translates over to the sports bar. So that's what we're doing here on the sports bar. All right. We are going to talk all things sports related, talk some things about life as well. Coach, what do you say?
I say that I love to hear the interaction. I want everybody who's out there on Facebook right now, share our stream, share it with your friends, get your friends involved on here. I love debating about sports, talking about sports. I love ripping King apart about his looks, but or about his outlook, and I love talking to sport about sports with King and with everybody else out there. So let's get everybody involved. Get your friends, get your mama, get your sister, get your brother, get them on here. If they think that they've got a sports take and it doesn't suck, we'll bring them on because we'll prove that they do, or we'll go ahead and praise their genius.
Hey, bring your ex-wife and your ex-wife's new husband as well. We'll take them all. Come on over,
Absolutely.
baby. Speaking of ex-wife, David Cunningham said Dr. Dre's ex-wife is suing him for $2 million a month in spousal support.
Hey,
Dre's
he's
got
got that.
it, but what do you need $2 million a month for?
He's got that Beats money, man. He can go ahead and afford $2 million a month. You know.
All right, before we get into the show, let's open it up with a funny. All right, why is my screen sharing? Let's not show people how we make the sauce over here. All right, so here's one of the sports things that I found hilarious. You know, there's this show called Key and Peele that was out there, and they were doing a parody of the way that people have their names introduced. But it's kind of kismet when you think about it. If you see two names on TV that just kind of seem like they go together or they match. And I found this photo, and I'm going to put the photo up here on the screen. So for those of y'all listening, we'll read the names out to you so that you can see what the names are, because this show is also on all major podcast platforms. So if you take a look right there, as y'all should be able to see the screen here, we got some football players that were captured together with their last names. And there's four panels here. There's one that says French and fries. All right. Which makes me hungry, by the way. Who do you think got the best French fries out there right now, coach?
Five Guys.
Five Guys. I like Five Guys as well.
Five
Ding,
Guys.
ding, ding. Five Guys
Yep.
to me has the best fries hands down.
They cook them in that peanut oil, and they supposedly cut it right in front of you. But I always see baskets full of those fries every time I go there. They're damn good.
Man, hey, so you know what? This show goes until 10 p.m. Eastern typically. If Five Guys is still open, my big ass might actually be making a trip 5 minutes down the road to pick me up some Five Guys fries.
Oh,
So Five Guys. All right. See, hey, coach, we're 3 for 3 on these random question who has the best so far. We got to keep this streak going. I don't know how
all
I'm
right.
going to feel when we don't hit the same thing one time. That's going to be a momentous occasion here at the sports bar.
It will be, and none of these are ever been none of these are ever prearranged.
Never prearranged. Coach and I
No,
get
not at all.
together 10 minutes before we go live, and I almost had a technical error right before we went live. This is the stuff that y'all don't know, all right? How the sausage gets made over here, but we make it work, and we look like a highly professional two-man band over here.
That's the first time I've been called highly professional in 32 years.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle said Chick-fil-A got the best fries. I put them four. But as y'all know, my top five is trash. So I'll say Chick-fil-A is four.
Yeah, the waffle fries are pretty good. Yeah, I like them.
We had so this one was a college one, which is hilarious. There was a Samuel and Lamar Jackson. This was back in his college playing days. So it reads as Samuel L. Jackson. And I thought that one was pretty funny. That made me chuckle.
They should be playing the motherfuckers.
Hey, that's good, dude. I gotta get something for you. I gotta get a sound effect just for you.
Get the sound effect of Paulie Walnuts or Tony Soprano going, oh,
I got you, my man. I
or
got you.
Andrew Dice Clay. Oh.
Bet we will make that happen. At the bottom, we have good and fortune. So it reads good fortune. Like, if you have names like this, you have to stand together for the photo opportunities. I think it's mandatory that you do things like this. But the one that made me laugh, the one that had me cracking up when I saw it, were the two people by the last name of Dingle and Berry. Dingleberry, man. Coach, what
Well,
two names would you like to see standing side by side that would just make you absolutely roll over on the floor laughing?
well, I will tell you that, looking at Dingleberry right there, they're from West Virginia, so that surely explains why Dingleberry was right there and sitting next to each other. But I don't know. I've always been a guy who, had that sick sense of humor. So if I ever find a Mike Hunt, I will uncontrollably laugh. Okay. Definitely will, no
Yes.
matter what happens. Um, I'm trying, what was that guy's name? Gosh almighty. Um, Mobama. Okay.
Mo
If
Bamba,
I
the
can
basketball player.
Yes, if I could find somebody whose last name is Barack and put him next to Mobama, I think that would be a perfect pairing right there
Nice.
between each other. But nah, Dingleberry, that comes up pretty good. I have seen Beavers fall somewhere around there. The guy's last name was Beavers. The other one was Falls or something. So you had Beavers Falls. But like I said, I need to find something that's got that little bit of childish sense of humor and Dingleberry. That definitely gives me the little giggles inside there. It's kind of like how I can't make a joke about space without talking about Uranus.
Man, absolutely. I would like to see one of these days the quarterback to wide receiver combination be the quarterback's last name is My and the receiver's last name is Cox. Something about that my Cox combination is just going to be sports hilarity if that ever happens.
Yeah, I can see Troy Aikman right now trying to get that through his name. Oh, yeah, the Mike Cox connection is really doing good there for Dallas, like it was back in the day when I was playing quarterback. What quarter are we in there, Joe? Yeah, we're in the fourth quarter right now, Troy. Oh, I didn't even know the game was on, okay? But the Mike Cox connection is doing really good there for Tampa. We're playing in Dallas. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, I can't listen to Troy Aikman.
Oh man, hey, that would be hilarious to me. All right. David Cunningham put something in the comment section on Facebook, and I'm going to bring this up. Let me take these names off and bring up the comment section. So, David
Bye bye,
asked
Dingleberry.
if we can talk about the New York Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones' contract. All right. And them putting the franchise tags on Saquon, I think that Barkley deserves more. So I was talking to CQ of Pop Culture Warrior. He does the Tuesday night shows here on WTF Nation Radio. Huge Giants fan. Huge. Absolutely huge Giants fan.
Huge.
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 And
Huge.
this was around the same time that Lamar Jackson got franchise tagged,
Hmm.
and then the market was kind of like, all right, let's see what teams are willing to pay and see if the Ravens would match whatever that tag offer was. And lo and behold, a day later, Daniel Jones gets his 4 year, $160 million contract,
Yep.
and that puts him in one of the top 10 paid quarterbacks by average per year. And
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, which people are saying is more talented, he's still sitting somewhere within like a 10 to 15 average paid salary by year quarterback, man. So, what are your thoughts on what the Giants did with Daniel Jackson? Okay, so this is a three-part question here, Coach.
Yeah. Daniel
Thought,
Jones, you mean?
yep, thoughts
All
that
right,
they
brother.
did with Daniel Jones. Why Saquon got franchise tagged, and do you think that this is going to be Barkley's last year? And do you think that that did well for Lamar Jackson, or did it hurt him? And is Lamar Jackson overinflated? Coach, you have the floor.
All right, I'm going to start off with the Daniel Jones contract, the 4 year, $160 million. I took a look at his cap hit. He's only getting a cap hit for $15 million this year. The prorated bonus is going to be going spread over the other 4 years out of it. Will he see the end of the contract? Don't know, but I agree that they should have signed Daniel, and I'm in the camp that tagging Saquon Barkley was the best move, and there's a reason for this. There was no way they were going to be able to keep both of them and secure both of them on long-term contracts. There was no way fiscally they would have done that without routing their entire roster and having two players take up as much room as you have on the cap. And we'll talk about that with another team coming up here in a moment about cap numbers and how you have to maneuver around them. But because Daniel Jones did get around that, did get that money, and that is the money that is being brought around for your average quarterback. Him getting a fair market value on that, it was easier to say we can pay $40 million for Daniel Jones than it was to say that we were going to pay $20 million for a long term contract for a running back, and in this case, Saquon Barkley. So tagging Barkley, he's going to get that 1 year pay. It's going to be guaranteed to about $15 million. Now, if he had gotten into the open market and tried to get into free agency, somebody, Washington usually is the knuckleheads that do this, would have overpaid and would have set a precedence for the running back position for trying to have a $20 million a year quarterback. How is that working out for Dallas so far? It's not really working out that great with Ezekiel Elliott. Saquon Barkley has also just completed his second full season. And I'm saying full because he didn't miss any time with injury. He has missed 3 years and almost 2 full years in out of those three here, 3 or 4, that he has missed time due to injury. The running back position is going to get beat up in the NFL, and a lot of people know that. Getting a good quarterback or getting a good running back like Emmett Smith back in the day, or somebody who's going to stay in a team for 10 years and going to be there every day, is extremely rare in the NFL right now. That doesn't diminish anything Saquon Barkley has, but in order to exercise around the cap to keep them both, the smart move was to pay Daniel Jones, tag Saquon, maneuver around next year, and hopefully get a shorter deal than you would have off of a longer deal that you would try to have given him this year. And that might be the best method. And if not, you might have another Saquon Barkley injury. If Saquon gets injured this next season, you don't have to pay him an exorbitant amount of money over 3 years that are going to end up being unproductive. So if you do have to move on, it gives you a little bit more flexibility, but it's now also centering yourself where Daniel Jones is your quarterback for at least the next 2 to 3 years. If he lives out to the fourth year of the contract, hey, God bless him. That's great for him. But at least for the next 2 or 3 years, you've got your anchor set for Daniel Jones. If you need to get another running back because Saquon's too injured and you don't want to take that flyer over there, well, there are plenty of running backs in the draft. There are plenty of running backs that are going to be free agents, whether it being cut out there. You can plug and play a running back a little bit more in the NFL than you can a quarterback. So the tagging portion, I believe, was okay for that. Now, coming up on Lamar Jackson has put himself into a too big of a quagmire.
In what way?
In what way is that he got too good and then he got too injured? and his timing sucked.
Mm.
Okay, let's be quite honest here. He has not won a single playoff game. He's been the league MVP. He's been, wasn't he rookie of the year as well?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. He was, yeah, he's one of the awards. He has brought the team to the playoffs. They have not won in the playoffs yet. This past season, he gets injured, and his replacement has them on a respectable record. And if I'm correct, then they also make the playoffs without him.
Yep.
Bad timing. Bad timing on Lamar Jackson. Now, do you want to get rid of a phenomenal talent like Lamar Jackson is? You don't want to get rid of him. And I know Baltimore does not want to get rid of him. But with these increases of the salary, just like Daniel Jones just had at 40 million, Lamar Jackson deserves a heck of a lot more. Are you going to pay Aaron Rodgers money, $55 million, for a Lamar Jackson at this moment? No, you're not. At least I wouldn't. And that's the way that he is going to market himself. He has the accolades to prove it, and he's got the potential to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He got rid of his injury. The team did exactly the same and did just as well as he would have had he been in there. We don't know whether or not he would have gotten a playoff win or not. But Lamar had bad timing. This year's cap hit with how, or this year's getting him as the franchise tag. It gives Baltimore that maneuverability, gives them a little bit more time to take him out and see if they can work on a long term deal. I just feel that right now, because of this whole, you can't really prove collusion, and if you do, it's really damning if you do, but it's very difficult to try to prove. If this collusion thing is right, nobody ever wanted to take it to him. It's because he's asking for way too much money, which is God bless him for trying to do it. The NFL's full of money, but he is doing it right at the wrong time. I hate to say this, it's right at the wrong time, and it worked everything against him right now. And now nobody's going to give up two first round draft picks for Lamar Jackson right now. No matter what, no matter who's looking for the quarterback. The Jets, they're not going to give up two first round draft picks for Lamar Jackson. They're probably going to give up a freaking future first round draft pick for Aaron Rodgers before they're going to give up two first rounds for them. He's stuck in that situation. He's stuck in a no man's land. It sucks for him. He deserves to get paid. He probably doesn't deserve to get paid what he thinks he does. And him getting franchised right there is just a way to keep it up for one more year as they work for a longer term deal. Or he can be looking for his future home after the end of this season, especially if he doesn't perform well.
Okay, yeah, it's put up or shut up time. Some people, because I'm hearing rumblings of people saying that it's disrespectful that Baltimore is not paying him. But man, when I look at it from, like, I'm starting to understand better this salary cap structure, what it means to the teams, the financial part about like the market for certain players. I get that. Like, I get why quarterbacks are paid a certain way, why wide receivers and linemen and other positions are paid a certain way. I understand that. But the part that I'm still fuzzy on is what they mean by cap hit with a certain player, and why, like, when I'm looking at Deshaun Watson right now with Cleveland, his cap hit
Mhm.
is $54.9 million.
And that's all guaranteed. Oh,
Hey, here's what's crazy. The largest guarantee at signing right now by quarterbacks in 2023, Deshaun Watson, a guy who, man, did what he did down in Houston. There's no doubt what his talent is. All right. But I would still say at a market in Houston, Deshaun Watson wasn't that dude, in my opinion. All right. For Cleveland to shell out and pay what they did to have him. Like, I think he would have fit real with the Broncos way better than Russell Wilson did, who's also a top 5 quarterback by salary, at least according to these numbers that, man, I'm looking at.
yeah, he is. By salary, he is, but you would never know with the way that he played. But Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland. Cleveland was so desperate for a franchise quarterback that they overpaid, and the way that they run their organization is just ridiculous. But they overpaid for Deshaun Watson. There wasn't going to be any other team that was going to take a fly on Deshaun Watson after all of those allegations and everything that came out about the rub and tugs, and everything that he enjoyed doing. There was no team that was desperate enough to pay that money and to take on all the burden of what ended up happening aside from Cleveland Browns. And because let's be honest, the Cleveland Browns are, well, they're the joke of the NFL.
they're the Cleveland Browns. And
They're
speaking
the
of rubbing
Cleveland
tugs,
Browns. Exactly.
speaking of rubbing tugs, man.
No, I've never got one.
No, it's. I find it interesting that around the same time that the Deshaun Watson stuff came out, you had Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, come out where he got caught allegedly or whatever at a rub and tug place in Florida, which was not legal. Like I think the only place is legal in the U.S. is like out towards Vegas, like in that area. They're not like
Yeah,
it's not like a
that
licensed thing that you could just go and get one. But
mhm.
the Robert Kraft incident got swept under the rug hardcore. It hit the news cycle, and then just as quick as it hit, it went away. It got rubbed away. I was trying to find a joke. I lost it.
It got rubbed out, huh?
It rubbed out. But
Yeah.
then the Watson news hit, and there were different specifics to it. Like Kraft was at an actual establishment allegedly when it happened, whereas Deshaun Watson, the way that it's told in the public, situation was that it was the therapist and stuff that was, giving him the extra treatment, so to speak. And then the
Yeah.
part that the part that always baffles me, man, and it's delicate to talk about this stuff. But the part that baffles me, and this is the thing that I say all the time, I am the father of a teenage daughter. I am telling my daughter about life decisions and choices and things that peer pressure is going to put on her, career pressures are going to put on her, and society and other people are going to put on her as well. For the people that came out in the Deshaun Watson situation, two of them were like, "Well, I couldn't say no because I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to lose this money." And I'm kind of paraphrasing what they said. And when I hear that, I think that's a lack of accountability on that person's part because if my daughter doesn't know that she can say no and be good with dealing with the stuff that comes from saying that, then I failed as a father because you always have a choice and a decision on some of these matters. So to hear some of these therapists say that they didn't want to lose that client or they didn't want to lose that position if they got proposition, so they went through the act, still took the money, and then walked away. I've got a personal problem with that.
I got a problem with it too, and it also deals down with the way that it was reported. Robert Kraft went to the establishment and got that done, and it was on video. I remember seeing the video, or not
Say,
seeing the video, watching seeing how that whole thing transpired. From my understanding, everybody was pulling off sexual assault allegations against Deshaun Watson. So that's why it was a little bit more of because it was actual criminal charges. It wasn't just showing up over there at the establishment and having the grainy video out there.
mhm.
So these were unaccused establishments. But there is something that also has to be said, and when it goes down to the people that are reporting it, we deal with that a lot, especially in our military community. A lot of us have heard this, and at nauseum, we have been through enough briefings about what transpires with something happening. With if somebody's ever in that situation, and we hope that it never does. Some of the people are afraid to actually report those things. And some of those people that are afraid to do that, in the case of Deshaun Watson, it can happen over a period of time where you do have multiple accusers coming out. There were multiple times that he was accused of that. I think at one point it was like 16 different women had come up with, accusations stating that he did that to him. That's a pattern of behavior.
Hmm.
Robert Kraft never had a pattern of behavior. Now, another thing we look at in sports wise, and this is something that does suck, is that we see the players in a different light than we do the staff and the organizational hierarchy. We see the players as somebody who should have higher sets of morals than we do the actual owners. And in this case, with Robert Kraft versus Deshaun Watson, we see that here's a guy who's, a multimillionaire white owner and an African American quarterback who's a player. And we view them in a different light, not just, I'm not going on racial lies, I'm just going on what their stature is within the teams itself.
Hmm.
And I hate to say this, but we give people like Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder and, some of these terrible owners, we give them more leeway than we do the players.
Which is
And I
interesting.
don't know. Yeah, which I don't understand the reasoning for that. Just because they are not out there on the field doesn't mean that we should hold them to the same standards that we do to the players on the field.
I agree. I
Yep.
agree. We have, that's we'll get off the rub and tugs for now. See, I told y'all at the sports bar, we talk about all things sports related, and as that happened in the sports world, we
Hey,
have an
King,
opinion on it.
King, I got to take a 2 minute break. I'm not going to go get a rub and tug real fast, but I will be right back. I'll come back faster than Robert Kraft came back from that allegation.
Oh, all right. So let while coach leaves, let me see. Can I hide the talking coach? Look at that. I know what I'm doing over here. So while I'm hiding coach and coach is stepping away, I'd like to take the opportunity to say, hit that like button. All right. If you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, let's see, Twitch, and Twitter. Twitter and Twitch don't have like buttons, but Facebook and YouTube does. So do me a solid. Help WTF Nation out, Radio Nation out on the algos. All right, that's the algorithm. Hit that like button. Let's take a look at the comments, and then when Coach comes back, we'll bring him back on the screen. We got David Cunningham said that Kyler Murray has a $230 million 5-year contract for the Arizona Cardinals with $160 guaranteed. Yes, I'm looking at that on the screen right now. I can't. All right. I would love to know what that kind of money looks like. I would absolutely love. Patrick Mahomes, his deal was the one that was interesting because they locked his ass up for 10 years. I almost said 10 million. He's way more than 10 million. 10-year, the total value of the contract, $450 million. Okay. According to Sports Track, the current career earnings by quarterback is Aaron Rodgers with $365 million. That's actually more than Brady, who's at 332. And I think this is just active quarterbacks right now. So even though Brady's not active, I think Coach is back. Coach, you back?
Yes, I'm back, and I guess all the talk about the Cleveland Browns decided that my dog wanted to take a poop right in front of me. So, yep, that's talking about the Browns going to the Super Bowl, and Shirley did that right in front of me. I hate to
Dude.
see what happens if I mention Michael Vick.
Oh, yep. I got to get that sound effect for you. Shout out to Cedric Osuria over on Facebook. Said, hello, boss. Hello to you, Cedric. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I appreciate you popping in on the live. And to a point to where Coach talked about, I'm sorry, to where Coach said earlier, Michelle said, facts, Coach.
All
Facts.
right. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Coach, let me ask you a
Yes.
question. I keep up with the NFL and the NBA primarily. You keep up
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of sports as well. I
Yep.
saw something that made me go, wait, what? And all pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey. It's not official yet, but he made the post on his social medias saying that, he was thanking God that things got done, and then he added the Miami Dolphins. So it's looking like come Wednesday, when it can be made official, all pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey is going to Miami. Did you hear that news?
Yes, I heard that news while I was while I was watching. I can't remember which one of the games it was on ESPN. I think it was the Big 12 championship, but I saw that down there on the ticker and reading up on it right now as well. Got it right in front of me.
So I haven't looked at the particulars. What are
hmm
they saying about the deal?
All right, so Los Angeles Rams have agreed to trade quarterback Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins for the 2023 third round pick, which is a number 77 overall, along with tight end Hunter Long. It will be processed on Wednesday when the 2023 year officially begins. So, yeah, that's where they're going to be. It's looking like it's going to happen on Wednesday. We will get the official announcement out of that. And as we know, as you know, we were talking about the cap hit right there. The Rams are going to take about 19.6 million of dead money on their cap hit, but they're going to get a 5.6 million dollar cap savings total for this trade with everybody that they have coming back. So this was a little bit of a kind of a cap move in order to move him out because if I'm looking at their cap right now, and they've got a lot of money tied up this year and next year just within several players. Cooper Cup's cap numbers 27.8 million. Aaron Darnold was 26 million. Matt Stafford 20 million. Allen Robinson at 18 million. You can't get release any of those guys right there because there will end up being a larger cap hit if you do release them. The best moves that they're going to end up having is to trade away some of the assets, try to get some people. And it's also telling me right now that Los Angeles is rebuilding a season apart from them winning the Super Bowl. They're rebuilding. They're going to retool their team again around Matt Stafford, keeping Aaron Darnold and Cooper Cup on the team, but they got to retool around there, and this is one of the first pieces to move.
It's ridiculous. They had that 2021 Super Bowl, and everybody was talking about it. They had all the hype. They were in this new SoFi Stadium, which, in my opinion, to date, I don't know if I'm going to give SoFi Stadium the best stadium in the NFL right now, or if I would go with that Raiders Stadium.
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium over in Vegas. Yeah,
Yeah, those two stadiums to me are just absolutely pretty. I'm hoping that we get the opportunity to get to Allegiant Stadium next football season. Wink, wink, hint, hint to the people out there.
oh yes,
that's
completely.
that's where the Super Bowl is going to be for this upcoming season. So that's why I put it out there.
I hope my boss is listening and say, and I will definitely love to be out there, boss, if you are listening. But of course, if you are listening, you don't know who this is, so thank God.
And yes, let's make this happen for me and Coach. And here's the thing: we'll even take pictures, and I'll still have the avatar up for Coach on the
Yes,
social media.
please do.
Let's
Please
make
do.
this happen, man. But that's a tragedy. They went from winning the Super Bowl to whatever that season was this past season to trading away Ramsey and attempting to turn things around here this upcoming NFL season.
I mean, didn't they have to sign what's his name, the one who got cut from Carolina and from the Browns, Baker Mayfield, and he came into the game and ended up winning a game for him at the end of the season because Stafford was injured.
Yep, yep. And I
Yep.
haven't heard any updates. My assumption, and this is me just off the fly, I think Mayfield's still on that roster. I don't know if he's with the new team or not on contract with the Rams still.
I am looking right now. Hold on one second. I will figure out because I'm on their cap right now.
Let us know.
Mayfield is not on the Rams right now at the moment.
Ooh.
Yep.
Man, I wonder where he's gonna go. That he's also been one of those guys. Interesting career as well. Talented in college, won some games at the pro level, but he doesn't have the same respect that like Josh Allen, who's some of the young Patrick Mahomes, obviously, but he's not only won games, right? He's like making the offense look good. He's doing what Kurt Warner did with the best show on turf. Like Kurt
Yep.
Warner back in his day, I thought it was a tragedy the way that the league did him. But hey, he persevered, uh, played extremely well, and was able to get a movie done. So hey, he did something right.
But David Cunningham brought up a good name, and that's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, 230.5 mil on a 5-year contract in the Arizona Cardinals, and look what happened to them this past season. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the hard knocks curse, but they had the hard knocks in season, and that's the first time that I've seen them having to fire the coach on the last episode.
Yeah, hey, that hard knocks. I watched the one with, so it wasn't the end season, but the Detroit Lions just before. That production value to me is phenomenal. It made me actually root for the Detroit Lions this season.
Yeah, I love Hard Knocks. I was a fan of it. First full season I really looked at was when they had the Baltimore Ravens. This was back like mid 2007, 2008, somewhere around that time. The season that I had paid the most attention to was the one where they had the New York Jets. Rex Ryan was there, and that's when Revis was holding out for the larger contract when they were on their way to the second AFC Championship game in a row. Back in 2011, the last time that they ended up making the playoffs. Go figure that one. It was kind of on and off for me for a little bit, but their production value and the stories that they have, it's phenomenal what they're able to accomplish, and I'm glad that at least at least we get to see that at the beginning of the seasons and kind of prepare us for the football. It's these sports documentaries that they have on HBO and Netflix, like Drive to Survive. They give you a lot. There's some, how would I put this? There's some creative drama that they take a little bit liberty to in
Uh huh.
the real life type of things, but the real life drama of what plays out on the field and how that affects the organization is the stuff that I am absolutely fascinated with, and I love the access that that Hard Knocks gives, or a show like Drive to Survive gives as well.
Absolutely. And coach, I have to say this. I have to say this.
Hmm.
My lady who's watching the show is likely cringing right now because she's from Baltimore, and you don't say the T. It's more like a duh. Baltimore. I don't get it. I go along with it, but I know she's cringing every time she hears you say Baltimore.
Okay, well, coming from a New Yorker, I will say Baltimore, and I will also not call it anything else but Baltimore because I don't care about Baltimore. Orioles suck, Ravens suck, and that's the only two teams you had. Okay, they both suck, and I don't care about Baltimore.
Yes, and she just chimed in.
Y'all's cops are worse than the NYPD.
She says, never say the T in Baltimore, LOL. Why don't they just spell it that way? The mayor put in a petition to just change it to the way that people say it. How about that? And she said, coach, my feelings are hurt right now, but disregard her because they also like stuff like mumbo sauce, and I think that's more of a DC thing.
About the only good thing is crab cakes. Now, mumbo sauce is not just a DC thing. We have a place down here that's got mumbo wings, and oh my god, does that hit good!
I don't get the hype. I don't. I
I
try.
like it. The sweet and the spice together, they're good. It's different than doing just the plain old buffalo wings or getting the barbecue wings. It's a good combination of the both of them. I like it. I like a lot of sauce on those wings too. that they put it out. But I don't know about anything else. Even the crab cakes. I'm not even going to get started with that stuff. The crab cakes are good, but I also have blue crab down here in North Carolina, and getting crab cakes with blue crab isn't as good as it isn't as great as Maryland crab cakes, but I will eat the blue crab cakes before I eat the Maryland crab cakes. I will say that.
Oh wow, that might, I think you're the first person that I've ever heard say that out loud on a public forum.
Well, that's because I hate Baltimore.
Nice. Shout out to Pete the Greek. He said Key's gonna be sleeping on the couch. Hey, well, joke's on you. I like sleeping on the couch. That's
Hey, sometimes it's more comfortable. It is.
it is, man. And then like I've got the big screen TV right there. Hey, that couch is comfortable, and actually, chances are that is likely where I'll be sleeping tonight because my bed is not made, and I don't feel like making it because after this show, remember, I might be going to five. If Five Guys is open, I'm literally hitting end stream and going to Five Guys immediately afterwards.
God bless you on that one. I'm actually going to watch Last of Us after this and fill out my bracket, which is up on the Sports Bars Facebook page. I do have that. I reposted it up there.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Before we go to the next subject, let's take a look at the comments. We got David Cunningham said, "Go Steelers." You know, I went to a Steelers game this past season. I met my homeboy Chad McHenry. Shout out to Chad. If he doesn't watch the show, I'm gonna drunk kick him in his face. But Chad's a Steelers fan, and we had a phenomenal time. It was like 10 degrees when I went there. So that shows you the love that I have for football and my friend to go on literally what I think was one of the coldest Sundays imaginable. And we had an absolute blast up there. So you know what? I could have became a Steelers fan. The way that they show up for their team is on par with those crazy ass Packers fans that shows up in their outdoor stadium with that crappy weather up there too. So salute to you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Michelle said that mumbo sauce is not a be more thing, so never say that. Yeah, as soon as I said it, I'm like, I think it's more DC because anytime I tell somebody that I'm from the DC area or I live there now, they be like, "Ooh, how's those mumbo wings?" And I'm like, I personally don't like them. But to be fair, I've only tried it once. So maybe the place that I went to, they didn't make the sauce the way that it needs to be made. So I am willing to go try it from a different location.
Oh.
Let's see. I said Raiders always, no matter what. Hey, boss, I don't know if you heard us earlier. Hint, 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 wink, wink. Coach and I are trying to get out to Las Vegas next season. If you got some connects, help make that happen. Oh, Michelle said that they close at 9:30. Hey,
Oh, dang.
Michelle, old friend of mine, the best person since, you know, uh, the person name I was about to say would have been bad.
CQ.
Since yes, we'll just go with that. We'll just go with that.
We'll
If
go
you
with the safe
could,
one.
if you could, my lady, if you don't mind, could you order it on Uber Eats and I will pay you back as soon as the show's done? If you could pull that off of me, I will rub your feet. And I said that publicly. All right. Or you could take my car and go. Hey, I didn't know if you had already had a shower. Yes, you could go take my car and drive. I don't mind. I will unlock the door right now, and it shall be a thing you can do.
He'll rub your feet like Rex Ryan does.
Pete said, "King, put a ring on that." Hey, man. Ooh. See, here's the thing, Pete. And I've talked about this publicly, so I don't mind talking about it now. Matter of fact, I think we've talked about it here on the sports bar. I was married once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing of getting married again, it might not be for me. Michelle and I have talked about it. She is aware of it. All right. That's where I'm going to leave that. Let's see. Next subject is where we're going to go. That transition was horrible. But hey, she said no ring, Pete, and she has no desire. The ring ain't for everybody. I tried it once, didn't work for me. But to each their own. David said, It's gonna be hard to pick the NCAA men's bracket champion this year. For the women's tournament, I think it'll be South Carolina. That Iowa team for the women, nobody's gonna beat them. Nobody's gonna beat them. That team is good. I actually, man, I wish I had one video. I didn't get it prepped, but there was a college transition video that happened, and if I could find it at some point, I'm gonna find that video and see if I can share it because it was the worst piece of athleticism I had ever seen, and it made me question why people. We've talked about it on this show as well that people aren't just interested in going to watch the ladies basketball, and it's like when you look at a
Yeah.
Division 1 product as bad as this was, it was like, well, this is one of the reasons that people give when they talk about why there's not people in the seats at the ladies tournament games. But yes,
We don't need to put them down here on the show. It's all right.
yep,
They
we
do
don't
that.
need to.
Yeah,
But
they
that
do it
video,
enough for themselves.
if I can find it, I will play it. Next
Yeah,
subject.
gotcha, brother. Sorry.
It's all good. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill competed in the USA Track and Field Masters division, which I had never heard of this division or whatnot until Tyreek Hill's name kind of came over it. But I'm going to read this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can put it up on the screen here. Let's see. Let's do this. And let's do that. Boom. So the USATF is the USA Track and Field. And how do I hide? Nope. I did the wrong thing on that. Let's do this way. There we go. The USA Track and Field Masters offers local, regional, and national competition opportunities in track and field and race walking for athletes 25 years of age and older, and international competition opportunities for athletes 35 years and older. All right. And then there's a long distance running division for people 40 years and older. Now, I was aware of what the Masters division was. I automatically associated it with like advanced age people. Let me just say that instead of saying older. But it's the same. It's the same thing. So
I
when
would
I
have
saw
said the
that,
same thing.
so when I saw that Tariq Hill was competing, I said, "Why is he running with old people?" All right. But then when I went to the Googles and I read about it, I said, "Okay, so it's 25 years and older." And man, I'm gonna show y'all the video. This cat is in a level of competition on his own. Let's take a look and go.
Tyreek Hill in the blocks as he races for the first time on a track.
So he's
in
number,
9 years.
I ain't even gonna say the
Men's
number.
60
It's gonna be
meters.
obvious where he's at.
And those
Pew.
block start practices were working pretty well during the week. And
Him
look
go.
at him take the win here as we'll await that official time. But welcome back to the track, Tyreek Hill.
Now,
You have won the USATF Masters title here at 60 meters. 6:70 will be the official time. As he
man, now he hauled ass. And not only that, that guy at the number one, he looked about as fast as I would be running that. And I had to ask myself, hey, look, I'm not going to knock people that want to go out and try and do something. But it's like, man, that guy at the top number one block looked like he had no business getting out there and running. But, Coach, when you saw that clip, all right, were you surprised at all pre-race that Tyreek Hill just smoked the competition?
I'm not surprised that Tyreek Hill is that fast. I was just surprised at the level of competition that was out there. That's like an NBA guy going over to the rec league and playing pickup ball against the fat guys in the short shorts like me. For crying out loud, he just blew everybody out of the daggone water. And 60-yard dash or 60-meter dash at 6'7". That's with some training and with some other things right there, he can get onto the Olympic team. I mean, sub 10 on 100 meter is what you're looking at for that. He's already at 6'7" with the 60-meter. He's that damn quick. He
Yeah,
is. He is that damn quick. It's a different discipline running track than it is running on a football field, but quickness is quickness and straight ahead speed is straight ahead speed. That man is fast.
yeah. And seeing it in person is one thing. Competing against that level of speed is a whole nother thing as well. It's obvious you can't coach speed. At least that's what they say, right? You can help improve stuff, but man, that level of just fast and quickness that Tyreek Hill has, it's like the dude was born to be an athlete. Um, it's
Yeah.
definitely like I've seen him compete once in person, and watching him on the field was crazy because he's like a different gear above everybody else on the field. It's insane.
Yep. Yep. No, phenomenal, phenomenal speed. And, now the reason why Miami traded for him just so that he could try to get Tua even better. And, maybe that's part of the reason why Tom Brady wants to come back. He's smoking these old white dudes over in a track over in Florida. He should be practicing routes with Tom Brady, and maybe he's got that. That's the reason why the Brady Miami rumors are starting to come up.
Ooh, Brady to Miami. Man,
Yeah.
I tell you what, that would be interesting. I might be a temporary Dolphins fan for a year if I can see Brady get down there with those weapons. Can you imagine that? With Waddle on one side, Hill on the other? Oh,
I,
oh.
I'm, I mean, but I would say this: just looking at Brady from the last at the end of the season, Brady doesn't have the arm strength he did anymore. And I
Nah.
hate to say this, it would be a pass and it would be a catch and run situations with Tyreek and with Waddle as well, because Brady can barely throw a pass now over 10 to 15 yards.
Hey, now that he doesn't have his wife no more, maybe he'll improve. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
And
a lot
and
of
and and
things.
and you know what? I feel bad for the guy that we covered a couple weeks ago, the one who got the sand from the place that Brady retired at. Man,
Yes.
that sand value has gone down completely. Now I can pay more for my kids' play sand over at Lowe's than I can for that sand.
Uh-huh. Yep. Hey, my mouth is gonna get me in trouble one of these days. It definitely got me some interesting comments on Facebook where I made a reel, and that's one of the subjects that we're gonna get into a little bit later on.
Hmm.
Um, let's take a look at the comments before we go to the next thing. So Tariq Hill, 60 meters, smoked the competition in the USA Track and Field Masters Division, which is for athletes essentially, we'll say 25 and older for most sports, getting them the competition to kind of, get that competition drive itch scratch. So I can understand it for some of these people. I'm still playing flag football at 38 and out of shape. David Cunningham said Noah Lyles is the guy to beat in track. The cheetah, Tyreek Hill, would do good in a short race. Noah Miles. I'm at the Noah Lyles. I'm gonna have to look that person up.
Hey, you know what? It's two separate disciplines. I mean, he might be faster than him out there, but I guarantee you, Tariq Hill is making more green in the NFL than Noah Lyles ever will, even if he wins the Olympics.
All right. Hey, Coach Pete has a question for you. He said, "Do you consider bodybuilding as a sport?" I'm
All right.
curious.
Bodybuilding itself, no. I do consider the strongman a sport, the strongman competitions. I do consider those like the strongman, the strongman competition, the deadlifts, and the weightlifting. That I consider a competition. Bodybuilding, no, that's just who's best at exercising.
Okay. All right. Salute to Pete for the question. So before we go to the next topic, Again, if you hadn't hit that like button, mash it. All right, drop kick it. Send your unborn baby over to where the button is and mash the button if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. We would appreciate it. Next topic. The title of this one cracked me up because it said female fan caught her man cheating at Sixers Bucks game, but it's her ridiculous outfit that everybody is talking about. And Michelle, thank you. She said that she ordered the Five Guys, so she is going to get a foot rub. I'm not giving you the foot rub just because you ordered it for me. Don't get me wrong. Michelle's awesome, and I appreciate her for even taking the opportunity for ordering that for me. Thank you. 76ers Bucks game. When you see the photo that I'm going to bring up here on the screen, you're going to go, I have more questions than answers. Why is this playing? Where's my assistant? I need to fire my assistant. All right.
Your assistant's getting your fries. Come on now.
So I can't really move myself, but as I scroll up, you'll be able to see this. So this was on TikTok. And this right here in the green, oh, y'all can't see my mouse. It says, when you see your man at the game with another girl. And on the left frame is this lady in something that looks more appropriate for a nightclub attire. And apparently the guy that she's confronting was there with another girl. I want to go, did she follow him in that outfit just to confront him? Was she already at the game and that's what she had on? Was she coming from the club or a booty call? Like, I have all these thoughts and questions that make me wonder, why did you allow that to be the choice of outfit, knowing that if you start conflict with somebody, people are going to film it or whatnot, and there's a chance that your butt's going to be put on social media. Let's take a look and read about it and see what it says. Oh, and then the funny part is this, I guess his father covering up his kid's eyes. But the article reads, and this is from TotalProSports.com, the 76ers taking on the Bucks this past weekend delivered in every way possible, as Philly came out and put a stop to Milwaukee's winning streak. Which, sidebar, I didn't realize that up until that loss, the Bucks hadn't lost a game all 2023.
Yep.
And
it was like a long, 15 game, or at least I think it was something like that. Yeah.
And so they lost this game, and they recently lost a dope game to the Golden State Warriors. I did watch that game. That game was good. Yep. Minus Giannis, and Golden State barely won. Minus Giannis.
Yeah.
But let's see. It says that there was one woman who was viewed arguing with the man, and it turns out she just found her boyfriend at the game with another woman, according to the caption. Now, I'm going to play this video, and I believe the sound might come through. If it doesn't, we'll just talk about it. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, I don't have any video. I don't have any audio, but I'll caption. I'll caption it. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house.
Yeah. So this guy showed up, and she's like cussing at him. She said, WTF, WTF. That's literally all she's saying is WTF, but she's actually saying the words. And he's just kind of standing here like, yeah, I got caught. And then she tries to walk off and then comes back, flips him the bird. The staff is sitting here and, trying to keep the peace or whatnot. But I'm trying to figure out what this guy was thinking and why. So Michelle said that she could hear it. Okay, great. Thanks for giving me that feedback.
I guess I just couldn't hear it.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't hear it because of the way that the audio was technically set.
No
I got to
problem.
fix that. But, yeah, so I'm going to play it one more time. The guy's trying to wave her off. Dude's walking by like, what's going on here? In that game, the Sixers beat the Bucks by 3. I didn't watch that game, but I did see the highlights, and it looked like that was definitely a game to be at in the stands and watch. I've always wanted to go catch the 76ers play. I'd like to see Embiid play in person. He's one guy that is a current NBA player that I would love to watch his game in person play.
And Embiid, you know, I like him because I like these back to the basket. The big guys trying to get away from the basket. I like the big guys being down in the basket. Embiid's been a force down there. I thought that he was going to end up getting that Greg Oden injury bug, but I thank God that he didn't because he's one of the most dominant. He's definitely the most dominant middleman in the NBA right now. I like seeing him play.
Absolutely. Now, I liken Embiid and Jokic game to be very, very similar because they're two big men that have size and skill.
Hmm.
And Jokic has been on the front runner for MVP conversation, which would make his third time, I think, if he gets it for MVP for the season.
He's back to back right now, so it'll be a three-peat.
Man, and on I think it was First Take. There was an interesting conversation that what's that point guard's name, man? God, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but he gave an interesting take and he called out former big man in the NBA, Kendrick Perkins. He called out
Yes.
Perkins for a take on how the MVP's been voted on, and Kendrick Perkins tried to defend himself against what is this guy's name? Name recall is horrible for me right now.
You talking about Jay Williams?
Not Jay Williams.
He's on the other, or another guy on the ESPN. I don't remember which one.
Let's look this up
Shit.
right now. Let's see, JJ Redick. JJ Redick.
JJ Redick, yeah.
JJ Redick essentially said that race didn't have anything to do with it, and that Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith were trying to make a point about race being one of the things that allowed Jokic to win essentially
Mm.
back to back and not on the merit of his skill. And I sided with what JJ Redick said, calling Kendrick Perkins out the way that he did, because Kendrick Perkins tried to say that he didn't say that. But when you go back, that's the beauty of having stuff out there on media. You can go back, watch and listen, and see exactly what somebody said about something.
Oh yeah.
So, Jokic, I'd like to see Embiid. If Embiid has a 20-10-10 average season, which I think he could easily do at any time if he decides to turn it up and just dominate. Embiid, if you see that year, I think you have to give him the MVP hands down. And he's one of the people that can have a 20-10-10. That's 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists type year. And that's why Jokic is getting it, because he's consistently sitting around there. Watching him pass too is a thing of beauty as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're still not coming out of the West, so it is what it is. He can get the regular season MVP. Him getting the playoff MVP might be a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
I said that the dad was covering the ears of the kid. He absolutely was. That whole picture. Hold on, I have to bring that back up one more time. See if I can bring it back up without any audio. Here it is. Scroll back up. Bam. Oh, my big old head's in the way. He covered the ears. I wonder if he covered the eyes. It's like, hey son, see but don't hear. Let's see. All right. Ooh. You know what, Coach?
What's up, buddy?
Co-produced this show. Should I
Okay.
go into the top 5 first and then end with "Am I my brother's keeper," or should we do the "Am I my brother's keeper" segment and then finish with the top
I
5?
I think we should do the top five and then do the brothers keeper because we want to end on a good and kind of positive note with everybody. So
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
let's go ahead and do the top five.
All right, before we get into the top 5, I have one more video to show. And I thought, man, if I would have saw this live, I would have stood up out of my seat. I would have been like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. I would have done a lot more than the way that these people reacted to this video. Let's take a look. So, if y'all didn't see that, this kid threw the ball, caught it, went behind his back. Oh, pressed the wrong button. Went behind his back, bounced it off the glass, and then caught it with his opposite hand and dunked it. And the crowd were kind of like, oh, but nobody really got hyped for that. That would get you, in my opinion, that could get you a 48 to a 50 in a dunking contest. Let's take a look at it again. And the crowd just was like, oh, like, not too many people can do what this young kid did. Let me see if I can bring it up. That's not going to the point that I needed to go to. But yeah, fantastic dunk, fantastic footage. That guy needs to be in next year's dunking contest if he could do things like that. Do you think that that was intentional, or do you think that it was an accident and it was just a pretty accident?
I think that was a pretty accident, but I can also say that that kid's got some ups because if you look at it, his head was parallel to the rim. He was he was almost looking down on the basket when he put that thing home. So that was a little happy accident with trying to get that there, and that shows some great athleticism for this kid. If you've got ups like that, that's another thing you can never teach. You can never teach ups. You have ups, and you can't teach what to do with it. You can make those nice little happy mistakes out of there, and be able to pull that, be able to do that stuff. One of the greatest plays in NBA history was in the 91 finals. And that's when Jordan went up for the dunk, and Vlade Divac was coming over there, so he mid hand switched hand to his left hand and then laid it up. After that, he did that up and then back down, and did the layup going against the Lakers in the NBA Finals. When you have that type of ups and you're able to pull that athleticism, that creates a little bit more of an acrobatic shot. And if you're able to kind of pull in on a happy accident like that, plays like that become, ooh, wow, that was magic. That's the no, 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 great shot that every coach wants to have.
Yep. Absolutely. No, no, no. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right. Let's see. Let's take this off. And we have played the warm up dunk that I thought should have gotten a lot more oohs and ahs than it did. You said top 5, right?
Yeah, let's do the top five, brother.
Man, I'm stalling. I'm stalling because I'm gonna catch so much flack about my top 5. But you know what? Here we go. Top 5 greatest shooters of all time. As of this video from players in the NBA, man, I'm so nervous
All
about
right.
my views
I,
now.
I am I am gonna lay out until the end. I will not make the comments until the end of this. I promise you I will not. I will hold my restraint in for you, brother.
You know what? Okay, hold on, hold on. So before we do, David Cunningham asked a question, and this is me stalling. He said, "What's going on with Michael Irvin being pulled from the Super Bowl coverage after the misconduct allegations?" I think that they prematurely made a decision before the facts came out. Everything that's came out kind of during and after the fact. I support Michael Irvin in his version of what had occurred, and I think that what happened is a combination of things that we're just kind of sitting in today's society where you can make an allegation on something without really having proof, and it can affect somebody's money, career, and things like that. Look, if there's proof of something, definitely work towards something, but to be quick to make a decision before facts can come out, I think is a big misgiving for a lot of different things. Coach,
And even if they do pull them, they've already got enough people are already covering the damn Super Bowl. We don't need a 20-hour freaking pregame show in order for that to happen. So it's no problem there.
All right, okay, I'll stall enough, man. Here's my top 5 greatest shooters in the NBA. All right, number 5, I'm gonna go with Larry Bird. All right. So Larry Bird was known to be ferocious. All right. Matter of fact, the guy had a game named after him, Jordan versus Bird. Now, when you look at him shoot, his style, he was known for making the shots that you needed when you needed to, and he played in a time that people want to say the NBA was a whole lot tougher. I think that Bird, whether you had 2 people in front of him or not, he was going to make the shot. You were surprised if he missed. And he was one of the only people, I think, to do what's called, because there's all these different stats. It's like 50, 40, 90. All right. He had a shooting percentage greater than 50%. Greater than 40% for 3-pointers, and he made more than 90% of his free throws. So when you take a look at the percentage of his shots made from the range altogether and at 3, and the fact that he 9 out of 10 would hit from the free throw line, I have Larry Bird at number 5. That's 5, cinco, for greatest shooters of all time in the NBA. Now, you said you want me to just go through my list and then you're going to have a comment?
Absolutely, buddy. Go ahead. Go knock out your list, man. I'm not going to interrupt you. I want to hear your defenses.
All right. Number four is a name that people aren't going to be too familiar with if you're only kind of caught up with the most recent generation. But Coach is likely going to know this guy. And it's a guy by the name of Peja Stojakovic. Now, I jacked up his name, but when you watch him shoot, okay, the guy was draining buckets with his shot. His range was actually insane too. When I give my top 5 list, I'm going to also talk about the 2 people that I left out who would have been like 6 and 7. But Stojakovic, his release with his shot was also insane too. It kind of mirrors the current player in Steph Curry with just his range and how he shot the ball, how quick he could get it off his hands. And I think Stojakovic is underrated when it comes to shooters. He's in a lot of people's conversation as greatest shooters, but I'm putting him in my top 5 at number 4. Okay? So Peja Stojakovic. That's way too many syllables. Number 3. Number 3 is one of the best NBA players in the 90s. His sister also played in the WNBA, and this guy was a shooter and specialized in the 3-point shot, and that is Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller was a guy whose shot was like unorthodox, kind of, right? He was also lanky and thin, and just it seemed like if you knocked him off, you could hurt his body altogether. But he wasn't afraid to take the shot. And not only that, when he was shooting, whether it was a set shot, a jump shot, or an off-balance shot, it didn't seem to matter. He seemed to be able to find the bottom of the bucket, and his shot was smooth. A little bit unorthodox.
The Nick video. Oh, God.
But smooth. What'd you say?
You had to play the Nick video. Oh, God.
Yep, when he hit that shot and then ran down the court and celebrated. Yeah, that was the first one. I put that one in just for you.
Thank you.
So hit number 3, Reggie Miller. Okay, so I said Larry Bird at 5, Peja Stojakovic at 4, Reggie Miller at 3. Okay, so 3 of the top 5 that I've gave so far are players that are currently not playing. There's only one active player on my list. Now, whether that guy's 2 or 1, let's find out right now. Number two on my greatest shooters of all time in the NBA as of today. Played 18 years in the league, so he's not a current player. That gave that away. Scored over 24,000 points, and a third of his points were from the three-point line. Okay? And that's Ray Allen. Ray Allen is a guy, let's bring him up. His shot will not be replicated. I think he had one of the most unique catch and release shots of all of the players that have played in the NBA. Over the course of his 18 years, if you saw him shooting the ball, you pretty much was like, yeah, that's going in. Okay? He had a really high percentage as well. He had one of the faster releases, similar to who my number 1 player is. And I think that there are some people that they're just so talented with the way that they shoot. You don't have a defense for it unless you're 8 feet tall and can jump to stop the angle of the ball from being shot. And even so, Ray Allen's quick enough that he can get the ball up and out of his hands and in a bucket before you can do anything. So Ray Allen is my number 2 player of greatest shooters of all time. Number 1, it should be obvious. David Cunningham's already put it in the chat, and it's Steph Curry. Steph Curry's highlights are insane. Okay, and just everything he does off the ball to create a shot is insane. Everything he does with the ball, his own ball shot, look at that, quick, insane, splash. Okay, separation, splash. This is the guy that a lot of kids now, when they shoot the ball, they're shooting and looking away because that's what Steph does in the game. He's that confident in his shots. He takes pre-game shots from the tunnel to warm up, and those hit. I'm convinced that if he were to take a shot in his sleep lying down from the half-court shot, Steph Curry would hit the shot. He's got plenty of logo shots from range. I don't know how the guy's that gifted, but Wardell, Steph Curry, I think he's a junior or the second, is my number 1 all-time shooter ever to play the game to date. Now, I didn't say score. Score is a different subject. That's a different top 5. So my list was purely based on shooters. So before Coach tears apart my list, let's do a recap. Number 5, I said, was Larry Bird. Number 4, Peja Stojakovic. Number 3, Reggie Miller. Number 2, Ray Allen. And number 1, Steph Curry. Coach, do your work, sir.
All right, so let me state some of the obvious. On my list, you got 1 and 2 correct.
Yes.
Okay, 1 and 2. I am never going to argue that Steph Curry is not the greatest shooter and that the second greatest shooter in NBA history is Ray Allen.
Okay.
Both of them fundamentally have the exact thing that you want and the exact balance that you want for any shot for any type of actual shooting. Okay, whether it be in free throws, whether it be in a 3-point shot, jump shot, inside the arc, whatever, they have the perfect form. And that form has elevated their game so that they are the all-time greats to that. All right. 3, 4, and 5. Now, I will tell you that you got one of the 3 that was up there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you did. You got one of the three. And I will tell you that you ranked Larry Bird a hell of a lot lower than I did because Larry Bird would be my number three.
Okay, so
Uh,
Bird is in your top five, but he's not five. He's your three.
yes, he's my three. Okay. And now four and five, this is where the old school of me comes in a little bit more because I'm about to give you two names that you probably either had forgotten about or you probably never knew about.
Okay.
Okay. Number four, the logo, Jerry West. You now I'm
I,
going to say this, and this is why the NBA is a little misconstrued right now, where it happens in all sports. Okay,
okay.
back when Jerry West was playing, there was no 3-point line. His entire career, there was not a single 3-point line. So we didn't get the highlights of these guys going from three, from way downtown, bang. None of that. We didn't have anything from the 70s. In fact, the 3-point line wasn't even invented until 1981. Didn't make its mark in the NBA until then. And then you started seeing the specialties of the 3-point shooter coming out from the team, where you had somebody who was as great as Larry Bird, who can get up a stat line of 50, 40, 90. Okay. Jerry West had one of the best jump shots in NBA history, and on top of that, too, had one of the best ranges in history. If y'all do not know about this, one of his most famous shots that he ever had ended a game, and it was a 50-foot jump shot from half court to against the Knicks. I believe might have been the 70. No, it was the 70 NBA championship team, or yeah, the 1970 championship when the Knicks won the NBA championship. That was the one with the oh God, not Bernard King. With he came out of the tunnel. I can't remember his name right now. It's been so damn long. But yes, that he was one of the best. Now, number four. Oh, you're gonna kill me on this one, brother. Actually, that was number four. Number five, a name that many people have definitely forgotten. Guy by the name of Mark Price used to be the point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the 80s and 90s. Played with Brad Doherty, but one of the most fundamental shots in NBA history. Great 3-point shooter. Mark Price made his mark, haha, pun intended, made his mark on the free throw line and had one of the highest percentages of free throws made in NBA history. And if you ever looked at his shot, you would see the same basic fundamentals that you see right now on a guy like Peja Stojakovic, on a guy like Ray Allen, on a guy like Steph Curry. And you see that same fundamentals that was pulled out there. Mark Price just did it. He unfortunately had to do it in Cleveland, so he always ran up against Jordan and never got the full accolades that he truly deserved. But one of the best shots in NBA history belonged to that man. Now, you can obviously see who I have on 6 and 7 out of there because I do have Peja as one of the best shots. He's number 7. Reggie Miller, one of the most unorthodox and one of the most unfundamental shots in NBA history. But man, he mastered the heck out of that. And I respect him for mastering the heck out of it. But I will not put him in my top 5 for greatest shots. Now, I do have one caveat to this, and this is for anybody that is out here and wants to know about how to actually get your best shot.
Oh, I'm curious.
All of the people that are in there right now, with the exception of Steph Curry, and I'm going to say this with the exception of Steph Curry, oh, this man, one of is most likely the guy that they copied their shot off. A gentleman by the name, and I've known him for 30 years, gentleman by the name of Dave Hopla.
Okay.
Okay. Dave Hopla was an NAIA All American. NAIA, if you all don't know what that is a college league like the NCAA. NAIA stands for No Academic Information Available. But that being said, When he got out, he was way too short to be playing in pro ball, so he played overseas and he developed his own jump shot. And he developed it through the fundamentals. And he has been teaching shooting ever since the mid 80s. When I was a kid going to basketball camps, Dave was doing his tours and showing the drills on how to put the shots in there and the exact fundamentals of it. His routine when he would do one of his lectures was an hour-long routine. Throughout that routine, he would take 500 shots from the beginning all the way up and through the end. 99% was his summer average.
I disagree with
when
what
he
Jay.
would go out and do his lectures.
Wow.
So think about that. 495 jump shots, and that's coming from the college three-point line, going inside the basket, mainly around the free throw line. But he would do 500 shots while he was lecturing everybody about the fundamentals of shooting. And he was able to knock down shots and everything, and he broke it down to the best of them. He went to coach with the Detroit Pistons. He went to go coach with the New York Knicks. He tried to coach in Orlando. He coached in Orlando. He's been coaching around the league, but his specialty was just nothing but shooting. And this man broke down the fundamentals and taught the best players in the NBA how to refine their shots so that it was fundamentally as good as Ray Allen's. Now, Steph is a lineage of Dave Hopla because one of the players that Dave Hopla coached, as far as the great shot, was Steph's father, Del Curry. And Del Curry, as you know, was also another phenomenal shooter in NBA history. He learned his shot and had it refined by Dave Hopla. And then obviously Dell passed it on to his two kids, and Steph just took it to a whole nother level with his handle. That was the thing that made him the difference was how he is able to handle the ball now. When he came out of Davidson, he already had the fundamentals down as far as being a great shooter. He had to find a way to get and make his own shot and to get the handle that he has. And that's what propelled Steph Curry from somebody who was an all right, great shooter to an NBA legend. And that's what separated him right there.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah, dropping some knowledge, aren't I?
hey, man, that's what we do here on the Sports Bar. You know, we entertain, we educate, we do a combination, and we call it edutainment. All right. So for those of y'all watching and those of y'all that will be listening at WTF Nation Radio, we appreciate y'all tuning in as always. So Coach and I had 3 of the same 5. Our first and our second were similar. Whereas I said Larry Bird was number 5, he put Larry Bird at 3. And Michelle in the chat on Facebook had agreed with you. She says, I agree with you, Coach, on Larry. He needs to be number 3. Salute to Pop Culture Warrior. He popped in for a second and said, just got here. What did I miss? You missed me getting canceled. Talking about rubbing tugs. That's what you missed, Pop Culture Warrior.
You missed some hoes in this house, I'll tell you that.
Yep, and you missed some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house.
in this house. There's some hoes in this house. Oh yeah.
All right, hey man. So you didn't demolish my list that bad.
You did good, King. You did good. I mean, I will tell you, you do know what you're talking about, brother. It's not that I'm here to do that, but I will tell you that it does get boring when people do agree upon everything and like, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I agree with you. Nah, brother, there's got to be differences of opinion, and that's what the sports world is about, is that we have these differences of opinion, and we discuss that in a civilized manner, and we don't all agree with each other on the same thing, brother.
Nope. And speaking of not agreeing on the same thing, that is the perfect transition for the last topic for this evening. Coach, I put a reel, REEL, out on the Sports Bar Facebook page. And I said that Jalen Rose's take on Ja Morant is something that I don't agree with. And let me see if I can share my screen here. So I said, and I can't make this bigger, but uh, a Jalen Rose said on the NBA Countdown, I am Ja Morant. I've been involved in drug raids. I've survived assassination attempts. I've been that undisciplined young person that was trying to figure out how to be famous, how to be successful. I've been that young player carrying a gun. When you start waving it, that could get you killed. When we
Mm-hmm.
start to get fame, when we start to get money, then we try to feel like we're keeping it real. We're trying to be down now. We're trying to be tough now. We're trying to be hard now. But you made it. And once you make it, your job is to uplift. He's going to return and he's going to be a better person. And I got on camera and said, once you make it, it is not your job to uplift. It is your job to win games because that's what you're getting paid to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's your job to be a good teammate, all right, because you're playing a team sport. But just because you made it, my take and what I came out here and said for the world to see is that it ain't my job to uplift just because I made it. All right. And that's what I got on here. And that's what I said. And man, oh man. Let me see if I can bring up the comments. It might not be big enough for y'all to see, but I'm going to uh, read some of them. Marvin Baker, you are now on the sports bar. He basically said that I'm stupid. Josh's job is to be a role model and to show young kids in the hood that you can make it out too. David James Moon said that let's see how long he stays in the NBA if he wants to continue flashing guns and stuff on video. Kyle Hinton gave, I think this is in the Bible. Oh, yeah, because Daryl McLean right there under it said, to whom much is given, much is required. Okay? And that I should sit down someplace. Floyd Arthur, salute to you. He says some folks say the dumbest things. I agree. Not in my take, but yeah, some people do say the dumbest things. Carlos Rojas, hey man, I appreciate you leaving a comment. He said that my point of view is stupid. Okay. Mr. Stubbs said in my James Brown voice, please don't ever become a preacher or a psychiatrist. Hey, I love the fact that people took the time to write comments over on the sports bar. Because look, engagement is engagement. All right. But like David Cunningham said, Demetrius Jamel Morant, more known as Ja Morant, needs to be a good teammate and a model citizen. Does he? Does he need to be a model citizen? Here's my take on this. Wait, actually, before I give my take, Marcus Murray said, what an ignorant take. It takes a village. We've lost that aspect of our culture, and this immature video proves the erosion of everything we were taught. I'm out here giving erosions of cultures there, coach. Oh, man, it was fantastic. Nick said what I am essentially saying. Your job is to keep your job, not to get suspended and mess up your money. All right. Let's see. Anything else here to highlight? Let's see. So Daryl agreed with me. Said, "Listen to this, food, Ja. You'll be broke. NBA has a standard you have to abide by, or you lose your contract." So, coach.
All right.
I
All
was
right.
active duty military, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
standard, right? They try to, for political reasons or whatnot, tell you don't be out there in uniform doing stupid things. Okay, even when you're out of uniform, you can still get in trouble for the stuff that you do while you're still, quote unquote, a member of the armed forces. So you had a code of conduct essentially. If you were known as a thug, you didn't really last that long, okay, because of the
Mm-hmm.
optics of everything. And if the military wants to try to recruit and have a, I'm doing air quotes, a decent image. Okay, you can't be out here looking and acting a certain way. You can uplift that same standard, that same code of conduct, and apply it to almost anything. And the NBA is no exception. I'm not saying that John Morant shouldn't uplift. My main point in what I said was that it's not his job to do that. Because look, he might not be a, a good person at heart, but he's a skilled athletic player. And if he don't want to sit out here and go and mentor other people because that's not his strengths and his strong suit, he shouldn't be forced to have to be something that he's not. And that was my point. I may not have said it that clean, but that was my point. So, Coach, what say you?
I support your point of view, and I also support everybody else's point of view because I've got a different point of view on this.
Let's hear it.
And here's mine. Charles Barkley, back in 1990s, early 1990s, came out with a Nike commercial. It said, "I am not a role model. Parents are role models. Parents are the people who help the young kids to be raised. And if you are looking, and his the whole point of it was he was there to do one thing, and that was to play the game and to be there for his teammates, to help raise a child. You, as a professional athlete, you're unfortunately looked upon by some people as to be that person that they should grow up to be around. No, that is the parents' job. The parents need to take that responsibility in the same way Charles was saying it, and in the same way that you were, to be the person that they are on the court, but you should be the ones to help the young generation grow up in the right way. Okay. That is the parents' job. John Morant has one job, and that is, or excuse me, he's got a couple jobs that come with this. He needs to play basketball for the Memphis Grizzlies to better his team and to be there for his teammates. Part of being there for your teammates is not to become a distraction where off the court, what you have off the court is distracting the play on the court. Perfect example. You have somebody who, let's just go with Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury had a whole bunch of crap that was on the court and off the court, was disrupting the whole team, and his teams never won. You had a guy like Dennis Rodman, where all his off the court antics never cared about what happened, what was on the court. He can go ahead and pull that, but it wasn't a distraction to the Bulls. And then when it did become a distraction, when it was in Dallas and in Lakers, they got rid of him. But he was able to do it with the Bulls mainly because of the greatness of Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. That being said, John Morant's not in that same situation that Dennis Rodman's in. John Morant does need to clean up his act, but not clean up his act for the youth. He doesn't need to clean up his act for the people in the hood. He needs to clean up his act for his teammates because that is what he is getting paid to do. I'm not trying to be my brother's keeper at my work, but what I do at work reflects where I am and what I'm doing for those that I am working with. What I do off of it, as long as it doesn't become a distraction to those people that I work with and to the people that I deal with that depend on me, well, that's what I do. And John Morant does not need to be putting himself out into those situations where it takes away from him from the team because he is not a role model. The parents are supposed to be the daggone role model. And much like in the military, you do something stupid and you're representing a team, and that's going to reflect negatively on the team, then you need to cut it out. But you don't need to cut it out just because some kids in the hood look up to you and think that you have to do this thing. You're not a role model. There is no professional athlete that is a role model. I can't even say Jackie Robinson's a role model. I say Jackie Robinson's a person that I strongly admire. But I can't say anything about Jackie Robinson because he didn't do a damn thing in my life and didn't instill the values that I have in me. I try to look up to him as a person, but I will not say that he is a role model for me. My role models that I have are people that I had to interact with at work and the people that I had to interact with growing up around me. And those are the people who shaped me into the man I am today. John Morant never shaped anybody. He's got to shape his kids. Don't put that on him. And that is completely wrong. And that's where I agree with you on that, that it's not John Morant's job to be a role model.
All right. I
Yeah.
appreciate your comments on that, Coach. As always, look, people are going to have their differing opinions. All right. I got called dumb. I got called stupid. And you know what? I love it.
Who's Jason Stevens is telling you or John Morant to go to jail?
That's the thing that I didn't catch. I didn't know if he was saying
That's
that to me,
that's an ignorant comment right there.
to
That's
Ja,
definitely not a role model thing.
to
Tell somebody to go to jail, huh?
to anybody else in the comments. Let's see. Larry said another dumb take. I will. Oh, I see. That's the thing. I don't know if that was to my take or if that was for Jalen Rose's take on what he said.
And look at
Um,
this, Royal Harris. Hold on there, Queenie. Hold on there, Queenie. Are you going to be like that precious guy that I'm going to have to make fun of, Royal?
ah,
Royal. Oh my goodness.
yes.
You ain't no royalty, okay? You ain't and you were not in Kansas City either playing baseball. So don't you dare tell somebody to shut your dumb ass up. And by the way, let me ask you something.
Uh huh.
Okay? Royal, if you're supposed to be, who is your nobody looking attention ass? Shut your dumb asterisk up. Let me ask you. Usually you say you shut your dumb ass up, right? So why did you bleep it out in there and then write it out in the sentence right before it? Come on.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. That is
Come
gold.
on.
Hey,
And if you're going to do that, at least go ahead and make sure that your sentences make sense and use proper punctuation, Royal. If you're named after people of high stature and high nobility. Start acting like that or shut your dumb ass up.
hey, Royal, you don't know this yet, but you're going to be clipped, and that is going to be highlighted for my upcoming reel for the week.
Oh yeah,
So
put that on a reel.
I definitely appreciate everybody that commented on the reel. And if you're not following the Sports Bar over on Facebook, go over there and follow it. But yeah, that definitely I'm not surprised by getting called an idiot and that this was a dumb take. I made my point intentional and I stuck by it. But look, it is my opinion. And I'm saying my opinion is the right opinion, just like Coach gave his opinion. He didn't say it was the right opinion, but it was his opinion. Okay. Um,
Exactly.
so I just love the fact that people took the time to engage, and I can't ask for anything else. All right. So let's go and take a look at the comments and close out the show because I got Five Guys fries to eat. We
Ooh.
got David Cunningham said that it does take a village to raise a child. And look, David, I agree. What people don't know and others that have seen me work know, I try to mentor young guys. I don't do it because I'm getting paid to. It's all volunteer work, but I recognize that there are some people that they don't have a good positive figure to guide and look up to. So when I have the ability to, I seek opportunities to attempt to mentor young men. And I said young men specifically. I'm a father of a daughter, but I want to more focus on the young men that's coming up that may not have a positive male person because hey, look, let's be honest, like in the schools, you don't really get the opportunity to see a lot of males in the schools. And some, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't have their fathers around. So that's why my focus is kind of on that. But yes, I agree. It does take a village to raise a child. Michelle said things that she learned tonight. Coach hates B more, but is right about the cops. Five Guys Cajun fries slap. Parents are role models. Always stop thinking that people outside of your home need to have the most influence on your kids. Hey, I like her 3 points that she said. Uh, Coach is right about the cops and be more. Five Guys Cajun fries slap, and parents are good role models.
Yeah, I honestly do hope that there's a certain Baltimore cop that hears me saying that she's shit, but you didn't hear me say that out loud. Or you're hearing me say it out loud.
Yep,
Baltimore
yep.
cops are shit.
Let's see. We have Greek the Peak said that they called me stupid but forgot to look it in the mirror. Absolutely. All right. And Dave said that it could be a bot saying go to hell. Facebook bots are put there to create chaos. Hey, you might have a point. I mean, look, there's Chat AI, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna do a whole Chat GPT episode. And
Yeah,
y'all won't know it.
yeah. Royal's a Nigerian princess that's going to wire you $7,000.
Yep. Hey, 7,000 US dollars.
USD dollars. Yeah.
All right. We got Alexander Roxana in the building said hello. Hey, Alexander, we are getting ready to close the show, but I appreciate you tuning in and popping in when you had time. If you got some spare time tomorrow, later on today, go back and watch the episode from the beginning. When you do that, hit that like button on Facebook. Is that where you said hello? Yes, on Facebook. Hit that like button as well. Let us know what you think about the show. Follow WTF Nation Radio. If you haven't already, you probably have. And also follow the Sports Bar on Facebook as well. I need to make sure that the links to all of the specific social media for this show is on the page. Gotta remember to do that. All right.
Yep.
In the stream as well is the tournament challenge bracket. If you have not already joined, click on the link and join. It is free to enter. We are entering March Madness, and you got a chance to win a $20 gift card from me. I will be spending my own money. Unless I win, then I'm just going to treat myself. All right? So click on the link, join our WTF Nation Radio Listeners League, and let's see if you got what it takes. All right, Coach? That's our show for today, man. We have gotten
that
to
this
10 o'clock.
Man, the 2 hours went by pretty fast out here, man. It definitely did tonight.
Yes, it does. Coach, you don't know this yet, but I'm going to make it your responsibility to close out the show. So, Coach, tell the listeners out there and the watchers what we have coming up for the week on WTF Nation Radio.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got now packed week. We are now going 6 nights a week on WTF Nation Radio, broadcasted as well on U.S. Army WTF Moments across YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook and Twitter. Coming up on Monday, we have the Monday edition with Ice, and I believe it's, is it Ship? Yeah, it's Ice and Ship. Ice and Shipwreck will be on Monday. Don't know who they've got on for a guest. I don't think they've got anybody because I haven't pulled up the calendar yet. In fact, speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the calendar because on Tuesday, CQ would kill me if I didn't mention that on Tuesday, we've got Sean Kanan coming on the WTF Nation Radio. And if you guys don't know who Sean is, well, he played Mike Barnes in Karate Kid Part 3 and in Cobra Kai. He's also been on General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and The Young and the Restless. So all of you that like your dirty little soap operas during the day instead of watching Fox News, well, you're going to see Sean Kanan on this Tuesday with CQ for Pop Culture Warrior. One of the other new shows that comes on this Wednesday is the Smoke Pit.
Like
that is Pit. With Smoke Pit is great. And they're going to be having a guest coming on, not this week, but the next week. But I do want to let you know, you guys want to check out Radar and TZ every Wednesday as well. Funny stuff stuff on there, and you can actually accidentally hear them going on their radio and bullshitting and pre-gaming about 15 minutes beforehand. They've got the longest intro video, and you can hear them talk about what they're doing before because they forget to mute their mics. Just kidding, Radar TZ. I'm just busting you, But anyway, but as we move along, then we move into Sergeant's time on Thursday, and ICE is usually on, just going crazy about what the Army has done right and what the Army has done wrong for the entire week. And it's not just the Army, it is all across the DOD. And I can tell you, we're going to have plenty of stuff that's going to be coming up there on Thursday. And then we close out the week with Friday Night Freedom. Kaz and Pookie are on every Friday night talking about and wrapping up everything that we haven't talked about on this week, regardless of what subjects in there. But whole week of entertainment for you on WTF Nation Radio. Go ahead and check us out. Like I said, across YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Like us on our social media at WTF Nation Radio, as well as U.S. Army WTF Moments on Facebook and Twitter as well. And guess that's all the plugs that ICE wants us to do. So I hope that satisfies the plugging for this week.
Absolutely.
Because I gotta go plug something else.
Absolutely, Coach. That was fantastic.
I gotta go put my hair plugs in.
All shows start at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time Zone. All right.
Yes.
So before we close out, David Cunningham hit us with the New York Lakers score in the second quarter. It is a tie ball game, 45-45.
Good. The Lakers will blow it in the second half.
Yep, absolutely will. So, hey, to everybody that tuned in and watched live, we appreciate you. To everybody that's going to catch the replay or listen to it on podcast, we appreciate you as well. We need to have some type of standard outro. Until next time, I just give you a salute, and the avatar is just going to move his squiggly lines and say something as I close out the show.
Bye-bye.